Okay, I turned it a little bit again. I keep trying to get it to where I'm in the middle. I'm always like way over here. And it's so funny because I am just like that in life. It is weird. I'm really trying to pull myself in balance and physically. I don't know if it's my eyes for my hips being off or something, but something I'm always I don't know. So anyways, I'm trying to be more in balance. Oh, and that one guy that I'm talking about that I said he has an opening line, he always says, "Glory be to God. Glory be to God." And he's got really good videos if you ever run across him. Every time when I see his videos, it's always really good. The Burning Man thing. Oh my gosh, the Burning Man thing. I think there's going to be more and more and more of that kind of shit. Like, this is not the time to be mindless. Like, this is the time to become thoughtful, mindful, not just mindless, especially like, let's all go out to the desert during all this time and all do drugs together and just party and just act like nothing's going on in the world. That's the kind of attitude that is going to keep running across. I wonder if it is like that energy is just so toxic, and since they stay in that low vibration, if they just keep being in that energy, I don't know. It is weird too. Like, I haven't been out yet to see. They didn't cut down all the trees. I mean, it was a while just doing one, and I'm not sure why they did the one or if they're going to do them all. I always just find myself being so different from other people. Maybe they didn't move to the forest because they wanted to live in the forest. Maybe they just moved there because it was the only house they could afford because it was cheaper to move rural. But I don't know. One thing though is I'm pretty sure that the trees don't like it. And these trees have got a relationship, and the trees are all connected under the ground. All their roots are touching. They're all communicating all the time. The trees are very alive around us, and they hold a lot of knowledge, and these ones have been here for a long, long time. And just when I was in my yard, just trying to clean it up and tend it, when I very first had moved in, I mean, the trees were out there hitting me. They were bashing me, scratching me. It was like wartime. I was like, fuck. And yesterday, it sounded like wartime over there. Oh, my gosh. It seemed pretty crazy. Another guy came to help him. You just hear lots of loud sounds and yelling and all that kind of stuff. It's like, whoa. Um, I, I feel like so exposed. Like, I don't understand the trees. I feel protect me. I feel shrouded by the trees. And it's weird because it's very micro macro. Like, I just standing on my porch and looking out into the street. It's like I'm looking from my own snow globe out into another one. It's like I'm in my own little world. And it's like when they start doing that, it's like they're opening themselves out to this other world that is not their own world or something. That's weird. And it also is there's another thing about the energy. But I all the time, like in storms and stuff, I always go out and talk to the trees. I always go out and ask for their protection. And I feel they protect me. I feel that they have seen, even though I came in, guns a-blazing, cutting shit down and clearing stuff out and stuff. And it wasn't that I just came to it. I kept having a vision, but it was when somebody else came and they were telling me, oh, you got to clear some of this out. You can't have it all overgrown like this. And if you don't take out these small trees, the birds can't even fly around in here. You got to take down all these small ones because they're interfering. So all about the forest health or whatever. So I did that kind of stuff. I just trying to tend my area and clean it all up and stuff. And the ground covering stuff, oh my gosh, it's taken so long to come back. That has been kind of sad to me. But also, I'm always putting more of because when I clean the yard, when I rake and stuff, I take the debris and put it back into, I made like planters around my trees and stuff and made pathways through the house. or through the yard. That's what I kept seeing when I would look at the yard, I would see the pathways of the water as it would go down my yard, and it made pathways. And I was like, that would be cool if I just use those pathways, and then all of the rest of it, I just made the yard, had, what are those things called? The rockway things I put all around. Can't think what they're called when you put them all around like a garden area. So I did like that, and then use the pathways to walk around in. And why the hell am I telling this? Oh, so when I rake up all the stuff, I put it up in that part. So I put it back into its own. Like, I always feel like when the branches come, some of the branches I keep for kindling, but a lot of them, when they come off, I put them back in like it's like a grave for the trees. It's like, I don't know. I just look at them so much more as being real. Ooh, you know what? I got a horrible vision yesterday too, was, it was something about the meds and stuff and the price jacking. I think I was watching this video and it was talking about the different things that they got people to rely on, that they got people convinced that they need, one of them being an epinephrine pen. And he said as soon as they got a bunch of people to need those, that they jacked up the price to like 40,000 a pen. And it just really hit me with the hormones, what's going to happen with these kids. Well, what would? I mean, everything's going to switch. But what would have happened, it would have been like that fucking movie, what is that movie called? I can't even fucking watch it. It creeps me out as soon as it starts. It's bad something. But it gets down to this cutting people's body parts off. I don't even remember the whole thing. If they have to cut it off for their own currency, I think it is something about that. Like you can cut off your foot and use it as currency. Ew, it's really gross. I think it's for the cannibal part of where our society goes. And that's another thing. Like, they get all these people hooked on that stuff. Like, yeah, what happens when there's no food? Then everybody's just going to look at everybody like a meal. It's like, I bet you they have that in some of the stuff they put in us to just cut people off from that. I bet they want that. They want some of that to happen. I bet you. And then they'll start going, oh, it's a zombie apocalypse. We don't know what's happening. It's like, oh, okay. It's not the drugs, the chemicals, and all of the interference that you create that's making people go crazy. And then, it's aggravating. But, let's see, because it was, well, really it was getting me this morning. But there was a bunch of little things I want to talk about because what was really getting me this morning was just the fucking... the stuck on devil, Satan, Lucifer, and angels and fallen angels. I mean, it is just nonstop. Like, and to me, when I was talking about that story with my neighbor, and her little girl was out talking to me, and she couldn't see me through the trees and the interference of the stuff out there at the angle, her perspective interfered with her view or her vision to see what was really going on. But she still made an assumption due to her perspective from how she was seeing it. She still came up with what she saw as the thing that was happening. And but she was wrong because she didn't see the full picture. She couldn't see that her little girl was talking to me. She thought her little girl was just whacked out, ignoring her, talking to trees. It's like, okay, I mean, Molly probably would. There's a similarity with me. There's a reason why she's always coming out and want to talk to me. And there's things to this, sharing our birthday and stuff. And then her moving in next to me when she's 2 years old. So her second birthday. And then she moves in and we share her birthday. And she's just always, if she sees me, she wants to talk to me. And there's just a little thing, like when our eyes meet, there's a soul recognition. you know? And to me, it's like those little things are confirmation. There's something that, there's a reason why she's near me, because I'm the older one, so it would have to be, just put it together. So whatever it is, you know, her soul was to come in to get whatever it was, because there's so much things that we exchange energetically without any of us ever even knowing. But this is when you tune more into your soul, that recognition. Like, I know there's an interchange and exchange. I know there's something happening, but I don't have total clarity of what it is. But I know it has some significance because I have the eye recognition. And that's always a big one to me. And the eye recognition and her her interest, her acknowledgement of me, her just, you know, even when things got so hairy, you know, and I talked about all that during, you know, I think, well, I started this in 2021, so that's when a lot of stuff was happening. It was it was January 2021, because I was trying to think, God, so much has happened. So many different exchanges and things have gone on through this. But definitely, there's been some intense moments with the neighbor. But yeah, she's still the little girl. You know, she still has that. Anyways, I have to go off on that whole thing. But so, well, anyways, I'm gonna go back to the oh yeah, the perspective thing. Okay, did I finish about the perspective thing? Okay, so when like her mom has this limited perspective, so she doesn't see, she doesn't understand, and she certainly doesn't understand the soul connection. She doesn't understand, you know, that there's like an exchange happening, an energetic exchange is necessary. It was like set up in the heavens. These, everyone who crosses your pathway, but especially when you can realize it, you can witness it, you can recognize, even if I don't know the reason, I don't know all the stuff. I mean, she's a little tiny and I'm older, you know, it tripped me out, but I could see it, and I still see it all the time. And so anyways, when she, so her perspective, though limited, what she was seeing. And see, this is how I look at all these people. Lucifer, Satan, fallen angels, oh, fear, oh, this is going to, all of that is, I see them all as my neighbor, standing back and can't see through all of the forest, the interference, the little, you know, things that are in the way. They can't see it. And so, but they think because what they see confirms to them what they know must be the fact. It must be true because what they see is what is their limited perspective. Just as she was basing things on her limited perspective. But see, as the human does not understand that they don't have the full perspective, they believe that the perspective they have is the full perspective. It is partly because we haven't opened our minds fully. And yesterday, that guy, the more of that stuff that he was saying, is this thing that they're trying to do. It's about it's all this stuff that I keep saying. It's about this opening our minds and getting us to think for ourselves and to be able to it's this looking at things differently. And I had heard this all the way back with Juan, where he was saying that they monitor online. They're always monitoring. They go into comments. Like, they'll go in and read what y'all say. They'll go in and see what I talk about. They'll go in. Like, there's people doing that. That's what they're doing. Like, this whole thing is monitoring. How many more people like me are popping up? How many more people are talking about things? In what level are they talking about them? That's what I'm kind of paying attention to. And it doesn't seem like there's a ton, but see, I don't go out and just look to see how many people are talking on the same level I'm talking. I don't think a lot, because when I hear people talking, they're always talking on these other levels. And that level is, to me, like my neighbor with limited perspective. yet they speak with authority and they feel certain of themselves. But see, that is a part of this awakening. That's a part of what they are going to go through. And everyone who's associated with them is going to go through with them. And I don't know, I mean, we're in this together. I don't know. I mean, to me, I it's all been going for so long to me. Like, since I was so little, this has been playing. Like, there's no getting around it to me anymore at this point, that my whole life was not leading up to this because of everything that I was being taught and shown and all of that throughout my whole life. I don't know, by these other beings. I still don't know who they are. I still don't know if it's like a group. I still don't know if it's, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just my higher self was so advanced. It was telling me all of the things from an alien's perspective because it was foreign to the human experience. It was more of explaining it from a perspective that I tried to explain to people that they couldn't understand, but now it's all coming out. And it's just so ironic how my mom is, because she's heard me say this shit for a long ass time, really long time, ever since I was a kid, or to her memory. I don't know if, but I mean, she definitely wanted me to know that she didn't leave on a spaceship. She left with Jesus when she goes. She wanted to make sure that that was the conversation we had. So I just find it funny that that's where her mind would be going about the spaceships, because that's our real history. All this religion and shit was all created to control you in the habitat. So I know it wasn't 2, it was like 4, but Stella has had such a bad night, such a bad night. And I just know it's every motherfucking time when they rain on us or some fucking bullshit. And then I don't know, it seems like she has a lump or something right back by her tail. And so I have just been putting the castor oil. I will try the Reiki. I've tried Reiki so many times on her ever since, because that was one of the first things I learned. When I was going on my spiritual, when the part where it was, I started like really pursuing spiritual stuff, I guess. I don't know. It was when I went to, see, my butt keeps getting so sore. I even have a blanket piled up here to sit on to make it more cushiony. And I keep feeling like I keep getting sore where she is sore. I swear to God, this is happening. And I heard somebody saying about your spirit animal is an extension of you. And I swear to God, I'm feeling her pains. And it hurts really bad. And I can't figure it. It feels like my bone is poking or something. I don't know. Maybe she has a bone spur. I don't know what it is. But, oh my gosh, I keep getting so uncomfortable. And it's been going on for weeks. But when I go back to try and rub her back, she turns her tail real tight. She's never done it. Like, I've seen her one time tuck her tail. But this turning her tail real tight, it's, so something back there is like, oh. So I rub the castor oil on it and see, because castor oil is fucking miracle. Fucking everybody should have castor oil. If you don't have castor oil, I would say get castor oil, get black seed oil, and you get the chaga. I have only been using it a short time. And to me, the hair thing, I swear to God, I have noticed, I think it was like a week ago or something, that I noticed that there was a bunch of things that I was complaining about before in my body, these weird pains and stuff like that, that I haven't been having them. There was a bunch of things where I started seeing like, oh my gosh, this has gotten better, this has gotten better, this has gotten better. So I just keep seeing everything improving. The more I get off the chemicals. And it's hard, like, I mean, what was it I bought? Like, I liked baked goods. This cinnamon roll bread I made yesterday, I think I'm going to give some to he always is giving me a little good. He is, like, I have some good neighbors. Like, just because everybody's asleep and not all into the same stuff as me, You know, I don't know. It's not like frustrating. It's not like I sit here all day frustrated that nobody's coming over to talk. I've got people who want to talk to me and want me to come and hang out, but it's like, the things I want to talk about are very different than what other people want to talk about. And so it's, um, uh, I don't know. I don't even want to go off on that because it was another thing I want to talk about. And I haven't even, hopefully I finished about the perspective. Hopefully that makes sense because I totally see most of the people have such limited perspective. And it's like they hold themselves in their limitations. It's not like, I don't know how much stuff is coming in and they're ignoring it. It seems to me that things come in and it kind of draws their focus. Oh, wait a second. Wait, what's that? You know? So I think that's all part of the awakening. And, but, oh yeah, because Juan had said about that they were watching us, this monitoring, because they were so worried about people like not being able to accept it. And you can see, like, you try and talk to people, you can see they can't accept this information. Where people are so programmed and see they are completely aware of this. So they're trying to unprogram or reprogram, deprogram, whatever, kind of like, you know, releasing us out of a cult. But without us like fully knowing what's going on. So because they got to do it in such a mass scale. Oh yeah, this is a scary thing. Hold on. Totally get the vision of like something in the movie's about to go, and then commercial break. So California has, State Farm has canceled all of the homeowners insurance. And that was a big fucking thing that people tried to say, oh no, all those rich people, they live in California. They wouldn't be selling insurance. They wouldn't be doing all this stuff if they were going to destroy it. Oh, really? Really? Okay. That's what I say. We'll see how that works out. And so here it goes. They're canceling all these insurances. Then at the same time, T-Mobile sent out alert for preparedness for, what are these things called that they keep doing to us? These emergency evacuation, emergency thing that's going to happen, this disaster that's coming in. And in Hawaii, I mean, they had the fire crew. They had everybody there, you know, days ahead. They had, Biden even said, oh, luckily we had him there ahead of time. Oh, boy. Yeah, we're so, like, we don't see through y'all's bullshit. Like, the only people that don't see through it are the people not paying attention. Because there's a lot of people still not paying attention. I mean, my daughter called me last night to tell me about this cool trip they're planning to Cyprus and wants me to look at the pictures. And I was just like, when is this trip planned? And then April, I was like, okay, there's a lot of shit that's got, before April, a lot of shit's going to go down. There's no fucking way. It's way too up there. It is way too up there. And I swear to God, I mean, I've got family in California, so I totally get it to all of, you know, and we really have to really, to our core, have to get this in our minds about we are all right where we're supposed to be. We can't run from death. We can't hide. And we got to really, on top of that, get it in our minds that death isn't real. And this is the reprogramming. And I think I'm here to like help reprogram some of these spiritual things, because there's things that like I understand and I've been told it's like inside of me. And there's so many people who don't understand it. So many people don't understand so much of this stuff, and they just say things, and you know, this everything about like, okay, so we're worshiping Saturn and worshiping that's Satan and Lucifer and all of this kind of stuff. It's like, dude, for one thing, I'm not worshiping any of it. I don't know what you worship, but it's the perspective. It's what you focus on. So if you are out there focusing, and to me, this is why I left religion when I was young, is because of what was being said. I was like, no, that's not true. God does not judge us. God does not hate us. God is not looking to punish us. That is not, I don't know what it is y'all think about this God thing, but that's not the God I know. And, but I knew it in my heart as a child. I didn't have to, I had that reference. I knew. So, I was able to see through it all that way back. And, another thing, when I say that about leaving the church, and saying, it was a big deal. It was a big fucking deal back then. And it wasn't just leaving it. It wasn't just like, bye, everybody, I'm not coming back. No, nobody got fucked, no. It's more of your family, more of, I'm telling you, everywhere you went, it wasn't just like, well, what do you do for a living? Where do you go to church? What do what do you do after church on Sundays? You don't go to church? And I'll tell you what some people could not wrap their heads around. Like, it was all fine and dandy if you left the church, you're an atheist. And there was a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'm an atheist. Fuck that. Fuck God. I don't give a fuck. That did it like that. But when you left the church and said, no, there is a God that I believe in. I live by that God. I live by that faith. That other one that you have, I don't know that. That became a big fucking issue. I was told all the time, no, you don't believe in God. You don't know God. That's what, so it wasn't just like you could just say, hey, bye. No, it was a nonstop conversation through your life unless you conformed and said, oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, I go down there to the Lutheran church. I go to the Presbyterian one down there at the corner. Oh, yeah, we're all down there. Yeah, that's, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to, I don't go to church. I'm not a Christian. What are you? And then when you said spiritual, because you tried that for a while, that's why, nobody would even understand spiritual. What's a spiritual? Like, is there a church for it? And that's why I started being like, well, I'm Buddhist. Buddhist? A Buddhist? What's a Buddhist? Well, they believe in reincarnation. Oh, some weird shit. That is what, that whole time was. And so I just saw a guy do a video, and it happens to be the guy whose daughter has got the ghost friend, the little girl ghost friend that she plays with, that she calls her sister. And so in his videos, he's getting, hold on. It all goes together. It's so funny. That's funny. So he gets all these messages, apparently, that people are very concerned. They are very concerned. And, he better get exorcism. He better get some shit done. He better go find Jesus and stuff like that. So he did a video the other day responding. And he was he was like, he said, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And this is the first time I've ever done it. And this is very, very difficult. And, he's making this whole thing. And it was for him to to say, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in Christian. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in that stuff. And he was saying some of the stuff he believed, which is spiritual. When you're on your own track, you're not following religion. You're following what you feel, what you believe. You're following your spirit. You're following your own spirit. You're not going and being led by someone else for your spiritual growth. It's a very personal thing. And, but, he was saying how hard it is to speak your truth like that, to say, especially when you're going to get so much. He said, probably most of you are not even going to follow me after this, because you get such a hardcore backlash when you speak out as not being a Christian. And it's crazy. I mean, total strangers get offended. total strangers lose their goddamn mind. It's a fucking cult, and they don't see they're in it. I mean, all the conversations I have with my mom, and I'm really curious, how is this going to play out? How is this going to unwrap? Is she going to be able to handle it? And to me, it's just video after video after video after video that I see that it is exposing. I mean, there's some article out, the Vatican, and there's so much stuff coming out saying religion was, a fluke. It was made up to control people. They just made shit up. And, but they stole stories and stuff. Like, there's a lot of truth. That is the thing, is like, the people have got to realize what you were connecting. If you were connecting on the inside, not just surface, not just, yeah, I'll see you at church. If you were connecting, if you were talking to God, if you were washing the dishes and, a Christian woman whose faith is, but you spent your time talking to God, not just reading the Bible, being indoctrinated, but actually talking to God, then you developed a relationship. And that's not a relationship with the person that they wanted you to go to church and worship. That's a different person. That's where this splitting of two worlds. And, it's a lot for these people we'll see. I mean, my mom's going to surprise me and just be like, wow, yeah, I'm letting go of that. But I mean, the battles that we've had over the years she's locked into this. And I said something yesterday too, because we were talking something about the stuff that was going on. And I said, stuff is going on. You can see a lot of stuff is going on, and it's all about to go or whatever. And she says something like, well, I would really like to see them all go, because she's always saying she wants to see them all go down and get hung, all that stuff, but that it's not ever going to happen. It's never going to happen. She just would like it, but it's never going to happen. We're going to be stuck like this forever. And and I'm like, God, man, my chest is really tight. I need to do some coughing. And so she said, I said that what did I just got lost? She said that she hopes, and I said, everything is going to flip the other direction. There's going to be an abrupt thing. Something bad's going to happen. There's going to be some abrupt thing, and then everything is going to flip the other direction. And you'll see. We're not going to keep going this direction. But see, her perspective is very controlled. I mean, she's been super religious my whole life. Maybe when she was like really young, because when she was like 16, 17, 18. Well, she was really my mom when she was 17, because she had me she turned her 17 a couple days after she had me. But she, all of a sudden I just got, math started going in my head. I've always thought she was 16 years older than me, but is that 17 years? Is that 17 years? So like this whole thing starts going. It's like, okay, I'm busy here. Shut up. That's why I said it. It's like you gotta master this. It's like it's like fucking Wall Street or something. You got all these shouters everywhere out here shouting out things, trying to draw your attention over here. And so there's a lot going on. I can see why people get so overwhelmed when they're not understanding what their mind is all about. And then so many people who get so like caught up in their ego, like, oh, I'm so smart, I just thought of this, I just did this. It's like the same thing you should be with the trees. You should acknowledge where it comes from, and your smartness is coming from the universal consciousness around you. That's why you don't need your brain. Your brain's the processor. Like I said, when I came out of my body, everything I thought, there was nothing different. And I didn't have my brain with me. So the, okay, let me think what I was going to say, because now I've got like more than one thing going. Okay, so they're trying to slowly like release us from our programming and our indoctrination. And so it's like an unfolding, a slow unfolding with a lot of the things, like, There's a lot of things. That's going to be the slow part with the money. They're not going to just dump $1 million in people's accounts. No, they're going to, it's kind of like think about when your kid's going to move out from home. And so you're going to go out. Okay, let's go shopping. Let's go get you some stuff. These are the things you're going to need. So let's figure out what you're going to need. Let's go out and find it. Let's start getting it together. Let's start preparing. And then, you go in and start helping them move in, get them set up. And but then they have to start learning how to do it on their own. Like you might help them a little bit with the money at first, help them make sure they get their rent paid, their electric paid, and all their stuff, give them a little, well, some parent, like in the perfect world, not many of us had that, but I think that some of us tried. But anyways, so when we go, it's very funny. Like I can get flashes of these different, so anyways, yeah. But so you try and help your kid get set up. I think that's kind of essentially what they're trying to do with us, is help us get set up, because we are adolescent. Like, and that is why we have all these like superior beings around us, all these highly influential superior beings. But they are, they does want to influence us to be our best, to show us how to feel better and get better and stuff like that. So so it has all to do with the work, and I think for those of us who can hear them, and the only reason I swear the reason I can hear them so well is just because it's just been my whole life. I mean, it was so much to the point where I was going out and trying to learn how to channel. I didn't even realize I was doing that. I didn't realize, because it just is so natural. I had to go out and listen to the channelers where I was like, I'm already doing that. And, I'm sitting there trying to meditate, trying to do all this stuff. And it's like, oh, I don't even have to do that. This is just regular conversation. And these people, so anyways, but again, I know that is because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I've so many things that they've shown me and told me throughout this whole journey of different things. So anyways, I feel like this is my purpose. So this is what I'm doing. And so in the limited perspective, where others look out and see, it's all, even these people, it's all keeps being based on religion, Saturn and worshiping and stuff. And granted, we have these people who are running the world through financial control, but that they have a lot of religious practices. And see, their thing is trying to control energy and stuff. And so it's kind of like when you go back to, kind of like when I was talking about like these new witches, and I was saying, well, witches, if you understand reincarnation, witches wouldn't go and be witches and then come back and be witches again. Like, you don't go in, that wouldn't be a thing. And so, I mean, you could go in and just, you wouldn't go back and learn the same things. It's imprinted in you. So you know the things you learned. You learn things. When you go back and you play, like I've said, a lesson can take you 50 lifetimes. You don't go back in and live the exact same one. You got to go from a different perspective. So you go in and you learn the same lesson, but in a different way. It's constantly trying to get you to learn a certain thing. Like, it seems like all the things that we're supposed to be learning is this self-identity, loving ourselves. Loving ourselves so much it radiates out. We couldn't not like somebody else. That is God. That is the radiation of love. And so it's the enlightenment, the working as a soul towards your highest aspect of self is working towards just the all-encompassing love. Where I talk about like dark energy is like in a condensed emotion. It's a mindless condensed emotion. It's not a demon. It's not out there trying to, it's a parasite. It's trying to survive. And it is, the manipulation it's doing to you is parasitic. It's just trying to please the host so it can continue. So it's not a devil who's got hold of your soul or something. No, it's an energy that you attracted, that attached to you during some dark time of your life, and it feeds your ego. It gives you messaging to give you confirmation of how it wants. So if it wants to keep you typically feeling bad, feeling separate, so it will give you messages to create toxic things in your relationships. And so it is that, but you let go of that dark energy. You let go of these things that bind you as you heal and acknowledge and release. It's this whole thing about going into your core, and you start releasing. And that, I'm telling you, as you release it, you feel, it's like, oh my God, I feel so light. And like I said, like I feel like it's beginning to just be kind of funny. I seriously, I feel like I'm like like I do feel like I'm just this light being going around in this dense place. It's the strangest thing. It is so much like I feel so separate from the world that I'm going around and living in. And I see like the perspective, my perspective, I'm standing out in the field and I can turn all the way around. I can see as much as I can see. There's nothing holding me back from seeing. I don't worry about what does Jack think, what does Joe over there think, what is Sarah gonna say. No, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I'm open to it all. I'm not going to be, I braked my programming. I've been breaking my programming. I've been actively working on breaking my programming. So I am, I'm participating in my own healing. I'm an active role member of what's going on in my life. And I take action, and I pay attention, and I look at things on the higher level. What does this mean on the higher level? What is happening here energetically and stuff like that? I just have moved out of this like other worldly things that hold people, because it is an emotional trap that isn't even real. It's like you're putting all this emotion and all this stuff into something that's not real. And the more you recognize that and release it and let go of it, the more peace you find in yourself. Like, what am I sitting here? Like, it's like sitting and arguing with your sister for hours over a Barbie house bedroom or something. It doesn't fucking matter. So it's like you got to start recognizing what doesn't matter and what does matter. And most of the things here that we think matter don't matter. So, that's this resetting your priorities. Everybody's got this resetting their priorities. And it's an internal, and it's an independence. Like, you have to figure out where you sit, how you sit. And so many, oh my gosh, relationships and shit breaking up. And keep in mind, you can't just sit here and say shit to people to please them. You can't just sit here and try and be something for somebody. Like, each person has to push themselves. They have to push the other people in honesty, not pushed, because what was this one? What was that? It was wacky. Something about nails clicking. Something about this guy, he couldn't even handle, the girl would click her nails, and he would lose his mind and get so angry at her if she clicked her nails. And, I was with somebody who I wasn't allowed to chew my gum. I wasn't allowed to pick my nose. I wasn't allowed to chew ice. Like, there was all sorts of things. You know, his mom picked her nose. Well, fuck, I gotta breathe, dude. Like, I got some thick mucus up in here. I can't breathe. So, chewing ice, you'd be reprimanded like a small child in front of your children. Like, but I allowed that stuff, you know. You know, it took me a long time to come into my own, to know, you know, like, if you don't like me chewing my ice, we probably shouldn't be sitting here next to each other. And, you know, you're wound a little too tight. And if I'm triggering all of you, you know, we've got to keep that whole, you need to go take some time to yourself. But people have got to start seeing, everybody's developed such toxic things to hold these relationships together, you know, and people have got to start seeing, you know, you got to, if you want to hold on to a relationship or two in an awakening, is going in two different, like, everybody's all, and that's for a reason. When you're out like that with your partner, with your kid, all of the people, that's all for a reason. And part of the reason, keep in mind, we don't even know yet, because I think that a lot of this is a catalyst, not just for us, what we've had to go through, but it's a catalyst for what's about to come. And so those people need to see where they were out of alignment. They need to see where they were attacking us and calling us names and stuff. So they have to experience this. You know, it's a part of their healing, a part of their growing, a part of them getting to see themselves. And so, you know, some of this stuff you're not going to be able to do anything about. You know, it's all going to be going, but, you know, keep in mind, in a relationship, if you want a truly successful relationship, you have to be true, you have to be honest, you have to be vulnerable, you have to own your own shit. You can't be putting it off on somebody else. And don't forget, there's all this gray where your feelings and their feelings are always interjecting. And there has to be so much balance. And when you're trying to find balance with two people who are out of balance, balance always has to start with the individual. That is why I keep saying, to really, before starting a healthy relationship, you have to find your own balance. You can't just go in and try and find balance with the two of you. You have to find your own. Once you have balance, then the person who is in balance with you is magnetized towards you. And you can feel them coming. You can feel, and there's so much to all the different stories, you know. I mean, so many people have to recognize their own stuff and step into themselves. So many people have to, there's so many varieties and so many variables. Everything is all perspectives. It's so we can increase all perspectives. And that is something that they have made such a thing to me throughout all of this stuff, since, you know, really starting to tune into all of this, which was back in 2016, was the perspective. We're constantly getting me to see how everything is on perspective. And, but they'll do it in pictures and different things where you're just like, oh, okay. But it just keeps evolving, you know, and you just keep seeing, you know, and to me, I just see the significance, the importance of why this pushes about the perspective. And I thought that the thing that happened with my neighbor just was such good clarity of, you know, seeing. They show you things in the physical all the time, but see, if you're not tuned into it, it's like a tuning into a different aspect of living. You are, when you see the things that they're trying to show you, and you are working with them, and so you are seeing things that is helping you understand and become, and you're doing all of this, this game, this life journey thing, this whole thing that you're doing on top of that. So you've got where you're actually playing the game. And then it is, I thought that the free guy thing just showed it so good, because it's like you're just playing the game in repetitive motion. Just, you know, all of us were just on that hamster wheel, just going automatic pilot. And then when something happened, when he all of a sudden noticed the sunglass person, and or something with that, and then he started questioning things, and started waking up and stuff. And then the whole game started changing. And something else I was going to say about that. I can't remember. But I just saw, like, there was this, okay, some of the footage. So I've seen a footage over and over again of, and I don't know if this is real. It sounds real when you hear the people talking, but you don't know if people have taken sounds out of something else and put it onto another one. If they've taken scenes out of a movie, put sound, like, there's people who just do this shit all day long. And there's people who are hired to do it just to confuse us. So that's why I'm always saying, when you see stuff, just kind of tuck it in your pocket and just see what else adds on to it. So much sky shit going on, so many people sharing videos, and you know, just everything, all sorts of things. I saw a video of, like, there's five fucking suns all in a line. So there's a bunch of planets right next to the sun in this one area where these people are, like, because like I said, it's like there's different things in different places. Like the sun can be like, what, it's weird. Like, just start paying attention when you see these different pictures and stuff, and pay attention to where they are and how the sun is, like, there's just weird shit. And so this one had like 5 planets, and then there's one where it's these look like total flying saucers, are flying slowly, and they're being escorted by military planes. That's supposed to be over by South Carolina, I think. Then there is all sorts of weird things and stuff going in the sky. And this one where it was all kept doing these weird lighting up things. And this guy kept saying, it's fallen angels, it's fallen angels. And I was like, oh my God, these people are also, you know, it's like a crowd has gathered with my neighbor, and they're all standing there with the same perspective. They're all not seeing the truth. They're not seeing what's really there because they're distorted. Their view is blocked by this concept of devils and angels. And that is all created for their religion. And it's like, guys, everybody who is sitting there, I see people who, oh, I've left religion, but then they still hang on to it. Okay, these people, yeah, they can be religious. They can worship whatever. They can be worshiping dark energy and then trying to force it on us. They can be trying to force us through rituals and gatherings and all of their stuff. You know, I mean, they're, you know, trying to conquer the world. You know, they've been running us for our whole lives, for centuries. They've created this world that we are existing in right now. And we came to it to experience it. We came here to experience this. So so like I said, they can be practicing their religion, but we're not practicing it. They're using our energy. They use our energy for their stuff, and they're trying to always manipulate energy. And like I've said before, the light is about being in sync with it. And it isn't about it's harmony. It's like going harmonious. You like living in the forest and being in harmony with it. And I really, I felt like, man, that seems like the kind, you go in and start cutting down these 150-year-old trees like that. It's like, are they going to get revenge? Is one of them just, next storm, just boom, right on your house? Like, don't think that trees don't think for themselves, because they do. They're out there talking. They're out there thinking. They've been here longer than us. They've seen some shit. And they don't like the way that we have just come in and we just massacre them like that. We just cut them down mindlessly. You know, we don't try and live in harmony, but it is because people are so distant from their soul that they don't understand harmony. They only understand conflict. That is part of this reprogramming. What they got to do to people is to kind of help them release this, because people are so corrupted, and people are going to be so judgmental on themselves for their corruption, their greed, their shame. It's going to be so intense because it's all about them. We got all that to go through. Don't forget. Like, there's going to be some people who are going to be real annoying through this. It's like, God damn, you're not the only one waking up here. Like, we're all waking up, but it's going to be a lot of stuff, and keep in mind, no matter what you're dealing with all the different people in all the different situations and stuff, that it's what you're supposed to be dealing with. So when you know you're supposed to be dealing with it, then you're going to start coming at it from a new perspective. What am I supposed to be getting from this? This is some bullshit. What am I supposed to be getting from this? Because, and keep asking, and then keep trying to hear, keep trying to understand. And don't forget, they may show you in a movie. They could have it in a song. They could have it in something you see, and it will just trigger all of a sudden. You'll be like, oh, okay. So you got to, start really tuning into your communication so you can get on their level of, interpreting what they are trying to communicate to you. And this thing about the words too, they wanted to keep us, like how I'm always saying, like, there's just no words. I don't know how to explain this, but there's so much stuff that you see in telepathy that it was like, but there's no explaining it, but you can understand it fully when you see it. And that to me is so much. But that's why we'll go more towards telepathy, more towards sharing ideas somehow, projecting ideas, I don't know. I was trying, because all these people are doing different things. Like, a lot of people have different gifts. Like, naturally, I have the Claire, all those Claire things, but the kinetic thing. So I've seen so many people, man, they can move some shit with their hands, and it's trippy. Is because I keep trying, like, I'll try, and what's weird is, like, because in here, as I've gotten older, this hurts. Like, trying to open jars and stuff is really hard. So I don't know what happens to this as you age, or, and then also, like, doing tattoos, everything you do repetitive. If you did cash registers, all the things, it just causes damage in it's all part of it. It's all part of it. Like, we should never have just been conveyor belts, just doing that hurts so bad. But so when you're doing it, so you have energy, the energy comes out right here. And I had noticed this was, look, I think it was last year, and I was trying to move something, and I was concentrating, and it was heating up so much. It was getting so hot right here, and it was tripping me out. And I could feel the energy, but it wasn't moving anything. And so I kept thinking, okay, there's something I'm not getting about this. I'm not doing it right. And so I saw somebody else yesterday, and she was explaining, how she imagines the energy going down her arm and going out her hand, and how she can move it. But see, it's all in perception. Like, that's why you have to keep trying different things and listening to different people, because you can go in and think, okay, well, I'm already doing that, or something. So we all explain things of how we perceive. And so, and perceiving is very unique. And so it's hard to explain to somebody something. And then even if you can explain it exactly your way, then they're going to perceive it in other ways anyways, because we're all perceiving too. Like, we don't all perceive the same things from the same conversations. So anyways, so yesterday I was trying to do them, and it even feels really hot right here right now. Like, I don't know if I broke mine, if I've damaged it. A weird thing too, when I started doing, like in 2016, I started getting out the tarot cards and all this stuff. I was watching palm reader things. I was going to Reiki, all that kind of stuff. The palm reading things. So I kept seeing these things, and there's these certain markings on your hand. And when you have these certain markings on your hand, it is when you've used magic wrong in a past life. You used it for manipulation, and so then you can't use it in the next one. And so you have these marks on your hands. Apparently, this is what the belief is in this palm reading thing, I guess. And so then your powers are restricted, And so every time I try and move something, it's like my hand heats up, it overheats. Man, it's weird how hot it is right here right now. And, but I can't get this shit to move. So I don't know. I'm going to keep trying, I think, except it weirds me out when my hand heats up. And then knowing that they said that I've got restricted powers by these markings on my hands. So I don't know. I don't know all this stuff, you know. There's certain things I know about and there's certain things I don't. I feel comfortable talking about reincarnation, interdimensional beings, and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff, you know, is new to me. I don't know shit about crystals. I don't know. There's lots of stuff. It's just everybody. It's your own journey. It's your own journey and you have an imprint. There's certain things that, you know, if you're super interested in crystals, it's probably because in a past life you used crystals and you know how important they are, and you have an inner knowing about them, an inner desire to get to know them. Like you have some reference inside of you that pulls you in that direction, and then it is a part of your destined, is a part of your thing. But it doesn't mean it has to be everybody's thing. We all have different things. We all have different, like we couldn't do everybody's thing. It wouldn't be time. That's why you come back life after life after life, to get to experience all these different things, because there's so much to experience. There's so much to learn and grow from. Even the worst experiences are so powerful. So what we think is like horrible, it's like, man, the souls that get through that shit, they're fucking warriors. And they're powerful beings. They, you know, they can maneuver and manage some hard stuff. You know, a lot of people, they give up. They give up. It's hard. So, you know. Anyways, so, you know, you've got all these people out there, even people who have left religion, who keeps talking about, you know, Lucifer and Satan and all of this stuff, because they're pushing their stuff on you, and they've twisted it to get this religion, you know, to get people to go and worship with them. But, you know, I mean, you don't have to be religious, for one thing. You can be, you know, spiritual, like me sitting and talking spiritual with, you know, spirits around me and stuff like that, and communication with them has nothing to do with religion. And that is where, you know, I've learned, like, you don't have to do ceremony. Ceremonial is kind of like your own thing. It's yours. You want to do this ceremony. You want to give of this or something. It's not necessary. You don't have to do a ceremony to have this or do that or whatever. That's the person. And it can be based on fear. It can be based on gratitude. It can be based on a lot of different things. That is that own soul's thing. To me, I understand, like, we don't need to do ceremony and stuff. And even with the clearing, you know, when I was trying to do the saging and stuff, when there started being all this activity in my house, and the one who just like laughed at me, and Hart's the one that seems like it was hanging out by my bedroom door again yesterday, which seems to me that there's like astral travelers or men in black or something that go around in the astral, like they go around. Like this is a frequency that if we, just the same as if you're on the radio and you turn it tiny bit, there's another station. That's the same thing. Like, we're vibrating this fast. Elon Musk just put this cool thing out on his thing, and it just looked like a bunch of little dots, and says, move your head. As soon as you start moving your head, you can see the words. So we're vibrating at a certain speed, and what's very low and dense, so that we can experience matter, so that we can experience feeling and stuff. So it's an experience. So it's all has to do with the experience. And so so we're here on purpose for this experience. We're birthed in so that we can experience this, so we can grow and all that stuff. So all of that stuff we do because we want to do it. And so then, but this frequency we're at in this game is a certain speed or something. It's going like a certain speed, but then right next to us is another thing going at a different speed. And then there's a different speed. And then there's a different speed over here, different speed over here, different speed over here. And then we have these portals and shit. So we have all of these different things. And they're all around us. It's not just a straight linear, like a radio station, like we used to. No, it's everywhere. All around us is these other frequencies. So here in this realm where we are, where we see, right outside of it is you know, and the CIA, they've all been figuring out how to do that. Like they've been sending people out into the astral for a while, yeah, it's weird because it's like the astral is, it's still like under the dome. It's like, like, is it under the dome or is it like it's, I don't know if it is. It's definitely like not going out. It's like you're right there. And it's like we're all these people who, keep dying and stuff, that they all just go right there. Nobody's leaving and going far away. Everybody is like staying close to this field. I don't know if it is because of this big wave of energy that's going to happen. There's all these people who are doing these videos about this, the event and the solar wave that's going to happen, and it's already on its way, and it's going to, you know, be this great feeling, you know, but except it's not going to feel good if you're all low energy, you're low vibration. It's going to feel horrible. And there's so many people who have been kept a low vibration. That's, you know, I don't know what all things are going to happen in what order. It seems to me, I thought that guy, the soldier guy, seemed to be more of accurate, like of what I think is that there's going to be something's going to happen that's going to just outrage people. And it could be the Hawaii thing. That thing gets worse and worse and worse. I mean, it's fucking so horrible. So, I mean, they are slaughtering people for land. This is 2023. And then the whole time, when all this shit's coming out, they've been doing it. This whole motherfucking time. Arresting their king, like, oh my God. Arresting their queen, holding them captive, slaughtering people. It's like, oh my God, it's fucking bullshit. So, you know, it's this total exposing of what our whole world has been built on. Like, all this stuff that I keep talking about, of how they went and it came and it took the lands and stuff from people, and then started creating this weird habitat world of control, and how they used violence, and there's so much manipulation and so much. I mean, when he says worry about the miners, not just the ones on the island, to me, it's, yeah. I mean, the opioids in there, and they just destroyed. This is the backbone of our country for so long, and they just went in and destroyed people's lives because, you know, they want to push on this city, get us all in these concrete buildings and metal and steel, no feeling, everything's cold, no nature, everything's controlled, everybody's stressed. That's all they want is your energy. And then as soon as you're not putting out good energy, they don't give a fuck. They'll just kill you. They'll just toss you out, feed you to your neighbors. That's what they'll do. So but, you know, all these people who are out there just focused on everything, you know, there's not just these beings that are out there trying to help us from all these different places. They're all this devils and angels. And so people are just limiting themselves. I mean, where people are saying, oh, doing shadow work, that's of the devil. Doing shadow work is of the devil. Talking to these beings, that's talking to Satan. Like, they're holding people back from their, there's just way too much focus on this whole thing with Everything is Lucifer. Everything is Satan. Well, it's Saturn. Well, it's the black box. Well, it's this angel. It's the giants or the angel. This. Oh my gosh. Oh, and I've seen so many cool fucking pictures now. There's always like something will come in, and then I'll just start getting all this information about it. But all these pictures of like different like statues or something, or different like I don't even know, but it looks like all these different giants and stuff are just frozen in time. And they're just in the whole thing too with that, the Hawaiian island, how it looks like a giant just laid down and died. And then the whole way that those people were all connected to that spirit. And then there's just so much stuff. Yeah, you can see that. Like if they're connected to that spirit and then they think she's angry and starts doing a volcano, so then they give her an offering. But see, it's also primitive. And then when you listen to the other beings and stuff, you realize how primitive it is. You know, you start seeing things on another level. And so, but everybody just stays in this like super, like it's like the acceptable thing to talk about. Like to talk on aliens aren't monsters, and because everything is, people just see them as, even the Anunnaki. Well, how is it that they are just monsters when we do the same kind of things? These are just beings that are advanced, and then they've all been watching us. They've all been watching to see what happens, and we keep advancing. It is, you know, it's been a part of the evolution. Like there was a part where they were, but yeah, because then we started having the underground manipulation. And then there had to be where they had to go back and get involved. But there for a while, we were supposed to be left on our own to see how we evolved. But then, you know, those people, and I don't know how it all went down. I don't know what this whole thing with the 13 families, the reptilian, like there's so much stuff of our history that is, you know, stuff we don't know about. But even the Anunnaki, like they were scientists and stuff. They weren't, you know, evil monsters. Like we've got a lot of evil monsters on our planet right now who are human, supposedly. And what was that too? Something about this. There's a whole thing now where somebody was saying that Dolores Cannon is leading a cult because of the whole NPC thing of getting people to be cut off from each other. And I don't know, you know, if she, maybe it was taken out of context or something. Or, you know, I haven't read all her books. I don't know all her teachings or anything like that. So I can't say, you know, how anybody should interpret it. But definitely, I don't agree with the NPC thing. I've said all along, if it's a soul, it's like it's a state of consciousness. Everything is a state of consciousness. And when you are in your lower chakras, you are like an NPC. You are just autopilot. You aren't thinking for yourself. Like when you start waking up, you understand. You start seeing like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even thinking for myself for so long. And you start recognizing, you know, and so that is the, it's just the unhealed person who's just living through experience, because there's a whole part through all reincarnation. You just come in to live that particular life, to gain knowledge, gain experience, to you're always gaining something from the lives. Even if you don't learn all your lesson, you still are gaining stuff. There's something else that was coming in for that, because the gaining stuff, the NPCs, but it is like it's a certain stage of development, and when you're going through those kinds of lives, when you're just going through this like reincarnation lives, just going through and living all these different lives. But see, right now we're doing something different, because right now we're awakening. We weren't supposed to awaken before. We were supposed to just live that mindless going and doing those lives, because even though we weren't aware of it, we were learning stuff. It was creating our template. It was creating our blueprint. And so, or adding to it. And so it's always that template of who you are. God, my butt is so sore. This template of seeing, of you learning yourself. Oh, okay, so this suicide thing. So when people leave, when they pull themselves out of the story, and they don't, is before they learn their lesson. That is like when they go to their life review, like what I was saying. And it's the same thing with people who just kill themselves through not taking care of themselves. It's an attitude towards themselves that once they get over there into their life review, that they have to acknowledge and see. That's always that kind of, oh my gosh, you know, because people just forget. And then it kind of, there's kind of a stress a little bit. Like, that's what I feel like with my son-in-law. There's like a stress kind of, like that they want to be able to fix the things. That's kind of like where you think of going to hell when you kill yourself. Because then you are in this state of wanting to fix something, but you can't fix it because your hands are tied. You're not in the same realm. And then people can't hear you and stuff. And so it has to be still, see, yeah, it still has to be down by that vibration. You can't go through that experience in a higher vibration. It has to be in a lower vibration to feel stress. So, but it is a tension. There's a stress to it of seeing what people are experiencing and knowing that you caused it. And so there is, it is a part of the kind of releasing the realm or something. But see, that is the trappings of like the earth realm of that. When you go out and you see like what you've done, you want to go back and you want to fix it. And then everybody's so connected. And so then when you're out and then you don't have this barrier, you feel like your connection is so much more pure. And so you want to, you don't want people to feel bad. So that is kind of like the trapping of us always wanting to fix things, you know, something to that part. It isn't. Like, I don't know all about the reincarnation recycle. I mean, it makes sense where there was in that realm, like what I'm talking about, that they were stopping people and sending them back in. Because there is a lot of people who say they don't want to be here. It doesn't make any sense to me, though, because there's way too much to it. Like, you have to have, like, everything is contract. There's no chaos to this thing. And, oh, there was something that was just coming in that I really wanted to, what was that? It was, oh, it was an interesting thing, I thought. Oh, let me think if I go back to the other thing. Sometimes it's like it's weird. It's hard to explain. There's just like a lot of stuff, and you take your eyes off of one thing and you go and look at another, and then it's like, but there's like darkness around. So it's hard to, when something's going by, sometimes it's hard to it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. But maybe if I go back and start seeing, then I'll see it again. Because, so the people who believe that they were in some sort of reincarnation trap where they were forced to be back. Oh, yeah, okay, so they cloned Tyrone with Jamie Foxx, his new movie, I guess. And it shows all about the clones. The guy who I saw doing the reviews said it's good, like they live, like it gives you all you'll see so much stuff. But in the thing, the clones don't know they're clones. And see, that's the same thing in the Westworld show. When the people start waking up, they don't know. That is all about our awakening. You know, we don't know. But it's sad when they messing with the cloning people, and instead of they get a template, if they have something that they think works good, see, they reuse it. What have I been saying? Like, I could see that. And so anyways, he's saying you got to see this movie, this cloning Tyrone, or they cloned Tyrone, I think it's called. He said that it gives so much disclosure, and that'll probably help people understand. But see, that is the hand of God bringing in this stuff, so we begin to understand. So as all this stuff starts unraveling and people start understanding, like, yeah, that's not really Hillary. It hasn't been Hillary for 5 fucking years now. They've been tricking you. And you go in and listen to what she says, but it's all a trick. Everything is an illusion. Everything has been a trick. It's all been a shadow show. It's all been trickery. And so, and it's all based on trickery. And that is, they're upside down on all of the stuff. But God, people gotta see, things are so far beyond what these people worship. This Satan and Lucifer and all this shit, you know, because they're trying to come up with ways to manipulate the world. Oh yeah, unlike the witches and stuff. So like when there's a difference in being in harmony with the energy and trying to manipulate and control the energy. In the manipulating and controlling the energy will get your powers taken away. But the manipulating and controlling the energy is the things that you learn. And so people who lived life as witches, they learned about energy. And I think, you know, ones that were learning about energy. I mean, there was some that were put to death called witches just because they understood herbs and stuff. But the ones that who were alchemists and stuff, it wouldn't come back, and go and be a witch again because they already learned that stuff. And so they would be like a regular person who had those skills, like, like this girl who's up there moving shit with her hand, energy shooting it out of her shoulder and shit. She's probably a witch from a long time ago because she had, or some kind of somebody who was using energy and spiritual stuff a long time ago. Like, she probably has more, or she comes from a planet where they do that all the time. Like, it's so versatile, like, seriously. But I just feel like some of these people, they don't understand reincarnation. If you think you just come back and be the same thing over and over and over, that's not how it goes. And your lessons all add on. You're always adding on to your template of who you are. You don't forget. Once you die, you don't forget. You don't forget your people. You don't forget who you are. None of that stuff. You won't forget this life. You'll see how much you love and appreciate yourself from your soul's level. When you get to the life review, you see yourself very differently than how you see yourself here. Here we, tear ourselves apart. We don't see ourselves for our real selves at all. We see this illusion that is being shown to us. And it's so trippy is how much that illusion is to reflect back to you what you need to work on. So whatever it makes you feel about yourself is giving you these opportunities to work on those things. So it's trippy how it all works, but it all has meaning. It all has purpose. And so I don't understand, with this cloning life thing, like how a clone could go out and just have a regular life, because life is all, I don't know. There's so much shit that is so trippy. Because if they're just making people, so do those people just live in chaos? Do they not have a conscience? Do they not have a soul? Are they just, because somebody was saying, and I don't remember which video this was, but that they make clones just to be out there, just to interfere with us, just to be like NPCs, just to be you know, so we don't have somebody to talk to. So we are kind of lost in the game. I don't know, like, you know, I've never heard anything like that in a life review where people were all of a sudden, oh man, could you believe that NPC that I think that's got to be something of just people's perception. But that is the thing is like, you know, you go in and you listen to other people, it can mess with your mind. So you have to be strong in your discernment. You have to keep being open, no matter if you hear something, even if it's something I say, and you feel so in alignment or something, keep your mind open so that you can receive everything that makes sense to you. And then, you know, decipher through it, use your discernment. And it's always just what makes sense to you. It's all about that. And that is the thing with religion is they want it all to make sense to everybody so that everybody can bully everybody. Oh, and there's so much of that shit too coming out. You know, all that stuff I was saying, how that is what they put out there is these bullies in order to create towns and everything. It was always so we would be controlled from the inside and held back a little bit. There's always somebody in control everywhere we've ever been. It's always been. So, now there's more footage of that one going around of that guy. So he worked for the UN, but he was like a low totem pole job, just, you know, but he said he saw lots of weird shit because he was on the Antarctica team thing or whatever. He said he saw lots of weird shit. And so then when he had the opportunity to go and they made him sign the non-disclosure agreements and stuff, but he said it was such a long time ago because it was like in the 90s, and he's moved and he's given up his American citizenship. So for him, he's decided he's letting go of that. Indeed, they don't have anything to hold over him. So that's why he's talking about what he saw in that weird picture. But then there's that other person who got the picture, and I saw that picture again this morning. I was like, it looks so much like the Truman Show. Like, what in the hell? Even the way it's going, it kind of even has a shadow thing. Like, you got to see it. And what was that other thing? Because there was, it seemed like besides the one guy who's always, now I can't remember what he said again. I already said it earlier. There's a lot of people who have these opening lines, grand risings, and I don't remember what he says. Something, I always think it sounds religious, but he has a lot of good videos. But was it something that he was just saying? I've got so many things going around because the words, there's so much stuff with the words and the language and how, and just the interference and then the control, how it was developed, the whole spell casting, how we are putting into motion the words and how it manipulates our lives and stuff. Like, there's so much stuff. The movies, music, oh my gosh, there's just so much. But that's why it's got to go slow like this. This is why they've got to deprogram the world, to try and do it slowly to make it be less chaotic and less violent. But there's going to be a huge amount of violence. And that's pretty scary about the California thing. Especially that time traveler guy saying that, because I think he said it was this year that it was going to be that big thing. And then that other guy, I don't remember where that guy was talking about in June 2025, or I don't remember his date, something, April 2025, that this 9.5 one, but the other guy's saying it. So if that goes down, that is going to wipe out all those people. But see, there would be nobody to make the insurance claims. But is that a part of the hand of God to motivate the people to be like, fuck this, I am not going to live here. All these fucking disasters, and now they've taken away our home insurance, we're fucked. I mean, that's a part of why I stopped paying. They were just taking houses. Like, why are we paying for something that they can just come in and take out in a storm? They don't give a fuck. They just burned down a whole goddamn fucking town. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about people. They don't give a fuck about things. They don't give a fuck about themselves. And they're a bunch of fucking robots. Like, I don't even know what the hell Oprah and Rock even are anymore. Like, I fucking, who knows? Are those, Oprah 5.0 and Rock 5.0? Like, who fucking knows what they should? And the fucking cloning and the fucking weirdo. And then I just saw somebody sharing a clip of Oprah when she was interviewing those Michael Jackson victims, which that's supposedly all a bunch of bullshit. But it's like you can't even get angry at the people because you don't know if they've been mind controlled, if they've had implanted thoughts and they think it's real. Like, this world is so fucking weird. It's just bizarro world. But, the clip where she's just like, oh yeah, 7-year-old likes it if you're touching his penis. Like, dude, a 7-year-old is not going to want grandpa coming in there, touching his business so that, the whole interview, when you go in and you start listening, to it through awakened ears, it's just like, this is so disgusting. And there's so much shit. It's so disgusting. Oh my God. It's so ludicrous. But it's all being exposed. It's all being seen. Like, Oprah is being so exposed. Like, and that is one thing Q had said, that nobody would be able to walk down the road. Like, they're not even gonna be able to walk down the streets. And that is what it seems that is coming, is that part where there's some people who probably need to fear their houses being burned down. Like, there's going to be full-blown attacks from the people, the angry, violent mobs that are going to be going after certain people. And it's going to be all in different communities. Like, it could be, in one place, a sheriff is going to be lynched by his own people. Like, there's going to be all sorts of shit that is going to go on when people start hearing and more stuff is coming out. So that is where we're going to go into this violent, people are going to take matters into their own hands, and it's going to be that violent time. And then maybe that is when they're going to start trying to get people's attention with med beds and money and stuff. But they're not going to just dump money into people's accounts, because people don't know how to handle it. Just like that guy was saying, people don't even know how to receive. Everybody is just so depleted, so mind controlled, so indoctrinated, and so backward, even at this spiritual time. And they're all just sit and talk about fucking Satan and, doing your shadow work is Satan's work. And oh my gosh, it's just like, are you listening to your soul? Are you listening to some paranoid people? Like, tune into you. I don't understand how everybody is so tuned in, and they're all saying the same shit and stuff. It's like they're all on a goddamn script. It's like one script switches to another script. So I love it when I see people off script. They're saying things, take a chance, take a risk, see things that other people don't see, and maybe you don't want to share it. Maybe it is too extreme to share it, but at least don't just stick with what other people see. Don't just stand behind my neighbor. Yeah, I see what you're seeing. No, walk around her. Go see, like, well, maybe you're missing something. Let's go over here and look, start walking around the people. Start looking for more. Start trying to get a better view, and all of it, when you get it, is just, it just releases you more. Instead of clogging you up more, it just releases you. You just see, like, how much stuff is just bullshit. It just doesn't matter. That's ridiculous. I'm putting energy in that. Why would I do that? You just start seeing things differently. And then you start realizing how much of your time and energy, your whole development of self, has been based on trying to please others. It's a huge thing to break free from. They were trying to create a group mind. They were trying to get us to bully one another to keep us in line. So that is a huge part of the programming that has to be broken. And you can actively work on it. Everything that you work on for yourself, of looking at things differently, not being reactive, being mindful, walking yourself through it, looking at other perspectives, trying to see it from somebody else's. It is all developing your mind to give you more alternatives, more possibilities in life, not have the limitation. That is the part where they could consider somebody to have an high IQ, is when that they are able to see possibilities, be able to see solutions, not just get stuck. A person who has like that mindless set, said they get stuck, and then they just, like, I would see this with my ex. He was a really big guy, and so if something go right, he would just try and use his muscles. He'd just sit there and slam things. I mean, it would just be breaking shit to try. It's like, why don't you just use this thing? Why don't you sit down and think of like another way to do it, instead of just going full on, like, you're going to just manhandle, you're just going to wrestle it down. But see, I think a lot of women, that we've kind of been forced into doing that because we don't have all these muscles to be able to do things. So there's a lot of times we have to sit down and go, okay, how can I do this? What if I do this? What if I do that? So that creates it creates so much more in your mind. And it is a communication, because when you go into that, well, how do I do this? And you sit down, you become mindful, you're in communication. They will give you possibilities. They'll give you other ideas. And, but if you're just trying to manhandle and shove and push, then, you're skipping that part. You're not becoming more you're not developing. You're just going the primitive kind of way. We're in this state of development. We're in a time of evolution. We're in a time of change. We're in a time of transition. And so it's important for you to recognize for yourself the importance of you transitioning through this, you changing, you developing, you looking at things different, you seeing things, changing your relationships, taking control of the things that you don't like in your life, and starting to manage it, starting to get control of the upstairs. It's and starting to figure out who you are as you go through it. Oh yeah, and I'll just say this real quick, and then I'll go. The still dark as shit, and I did not even want to wake up. I swear, she just was like, man, she's really struggling tonight. I don't even know what today is going to be like. I swear to God, yesterday I was just laying there thinking, oh, I just want to lay down. I just want to lay down. Oh, I just want to go over there and lay down. But then I don't know. I just get stuck or something. I'll just keep doing something. Well, I want to go do that, but I didn't do it. Like, I would just kept being interruptions, but I kept being like so tired. And then like, I just need to shut my eyes. And always this light. I've got it on the dimmest one, but doesn't seem so bright. And I can't even get it any dimmer. And it is, these lights are the ones that damage our eyes. And I've already got so much damage to my eyes. So it's always like, especially when I'm tired. So anyways, I don't know what today is going to be like. Ugh. Today's Sunday. It's just so weird. So weird how this is all played out. So many weekends for so long. I thought, oh, this got to be it. This got to be it. And now it's just like, oh my God, this has gone for years. This is the tribulation. And I can't say that to my mom. Oh no. Even when I've told her, we're in the tribulation, Mom. And she's like, oh no, it's going to be way worse than this. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know how it could be worse than this, but because it's about to get way worse, because there's going to be so much violence with people. There's going to be, I mean, you can see the tensions building. You can see it building up. In some places are all different, but just like I said, like when you just even go outside, you can feel the pressure. You can feel the tension, and you hear people like snapping and yelling, and just like the cars going down and them revving down the highway. It sounds like they're aggressively revving and stuff. Like everything just is so intense right now. And and I know everything is going to flip. And I know that there's going to be some people, it's going to be the best flip. Everything is going to go so good. But it's going to be all on different levels. And it's all on the level that the souls decided, the souls, what they're here to experience, what they're here to grow through. And so it's going to be, super versatile for so many people. But there's going to be people who are really in dark places when this happens. But there's going to be so much death coming up. Like, I really do think, like, I don't know if it's going to be half the population, but there's going to be a significant amount of people who are going to be gone. And it can be whole places too, like in Hawaii, a whole big town. I guess it's happening in some of the other countries, but there can be some of these countries that have been, in battle with these certain energies, that a whole one will go, because it's going to be another impactful thing. Like, all this stuff is so much more spiritual and deeper, what's going on here, than what people understand. And so, like a whole fucking, like, all of India, all of a sudden they all leave together, and when they're all leaving together, it's like, you don't even know, like, if they're just going to another reality, they can creating another reality. Are they going back to their home planet, and they were just there as a group of explorers that became a bigger group? Because I do think that there is some tribes from a long time ago that were explorers and came here and were just living, and then started, developing along with humans. Like, I literally don't think every single person that's on the planet is that we're all from the same place. Like, some of us are lab grown. Like, I'm sure that there's a part of me that is lab grown. I mean, it just makes sense when you see the stuff about the orphan trains, and just the weird thing about my two grandmas, like, to know, my grandpa's stuff. And I don't know, my siblings that have looked more into it, but they're, the ancestral line, when they were following the line, and I don't know, maybe they got way far back there on my grandma's, and, I'm just paranoid or something. But it always has seemed vague, and it always was just kind of strange how, especially my one grandma, never had anything to do with her family. The other one, she had like a sister or something. I don't know if her family had all died or something, but it's another thing, back to that thing about these farms, where they sent these little orphan kids to go and be in those families, and that they were really just orphans that were taken as like little slaves for the people. And so the people didn't ever feel close to their families and stuff. They always felt like used and abused and stuff. It was like a part of the whole setting up. And then the whole way about, my grandma Mary and my grandpa, who was like, both of them married immigrants, which I still don't know. Like, this is all based on just, hypothesis, the things that I've heard, and theories and stuff. So if they, but it's weird how, if you are with an immigrant, you're supposed to shut them down. They're not supposed to speak their language. It's embarrassing. You got to be American, this whole thing. So there was so much manipulation going on, and all about this taking the lands from the people. And then when you think about that there's tribes and stuff here from other planets, well, there's no wonder that we have all these other beings that are involved with this whole thing. Like, there's all sorts of beings that are involved. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they were having saucers up there, but the military wouldn't be, what is that called? If they were moving them, it wouldn't be, making them leave. It would be protecting them. It wouldn't be escorting them out. It would be protecting them, I would think. And because the military would be, the military should be under control by the commander-in-chief. The military should be white hats. The military is supposedly going into Hawaii. There's all sorts of shit going on with FEMA and the military and shit going on over there, and arrests and fighting and stuff. So, there's going to be probably more of that here, but I don't know. There's going to be a lot that's going to be going on. It's going to be in all different places, all different things happening. And wherever we are is where we're supposed to be. Whatever we go through is what we're supposed to go through. And just through all of the different things, just keep in mind this is all for a bigger purpose. And everything is there to teach you things. And so be productive in your learning and releasing this old toxic world. But anyways, so the healing, there will be a slow part. But I do think through the slow part, there will be, it's not going to be tedious like this for so many of us. It's going to be, things are going better for us. The tediousness will be like how we've gone through all of this, like gritting our teeth, watching, like, please don't get any more. Please don't do this. Please stop eating that. Please stop, It's like, so they're going to then have to go through that experience of that tediousness. And then, so there's going to be so many levels. That's the different. My water's gone. Oh, there it goes. That's the tediousness. I mean, the splitting realities is there's going to be, we're all going to be living in different realities, but for people who have been doing the work, this is when you will start seeing your progress towards, there's going to be a whole thing he even had said about the developing the cities and stuff, the towns and stuff. Like there's going to be certain people who are coming into their own, their spirits guiding them. There's certain people who will be in different places that'll start building up certain towns and stuff, but it's in them. It's already a part of their programming. So there will be, a lot of developing for communities and agriculture. There'll be people, there's a lot of people learning about herbs, a lot of people learning all sorts of things, and all of them will all come together. God, I need to cough all that shit out. And the fucking movement up in here freaks me out. So, anyways, but the people, because there's so many people, especially people that go and listen to this kind of stuff, who relate to healing and healing modalities and, like Reiki and all the different things that people know who feel that inside their soul, that they're here to help people, but they just don't know what they're supposed to be doing. That it's going to all become clear. There's going to be jobs, there's going to be healing centers that are going to open, there's going to be all sorts of things. And it's not going to be like these, what we thought of before, this chasing a career where, I'm going to work 70 or 80 hours. No, it's going to be going more towards, work 3 hours a day, a couple times a week. And the money's going to be a lot better, but it's going to be our time management. It's going to be our priorities. And we're going to be a lot more efficient. And people are going to, I don't know how it's all going to go. I just know that there's going to be a place that is going to open up for all these people who feel that motivation to heal. And then you can see there's going to be a lot of people who need it. They need guidance. They need help. They need to talk. And then plus the deprogramming, because so many people, some dark energy that's attached to them, and they think that they've got a devil or something because of how they've been taught. So anyways, there's just so much information that people will be, you'll see there's a point, there was a purpose. And so, but we're at this part where it's so close to the change. It's, I still seems like, fuck, it seems like it would be impossible for us to get out of September the same as what we went in. It seems like this is going to be a dramatic month. And so, all the drama leads us towards the where we want to be. Everything is leading us to this switching. So it's just all the stuff we got to go through to get to that part. And, it's hard when you have been doing the work and stuff to watch others suffer. It's hard. And you know, I want to be able to go out and help them. I see people all the time talking about things that are beating them down. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, I wish I could talk to you. And, you know, it's all in how people look at things. It's just they're not seeing. They're all just standing there through the trees trying to see the whole story. So, anyways, I'm going to go see what this day holds for me. And who knows, I'm so early. Maybe some stuff I'll come back and talk about later today. I don't know. But anyways, you know, I'm going to go on TikTok and see what's going on and see if anything. It seems like it's just disaster. It's just the same thing. Disasters, people's crises. Oh, the watermelon. Oh, yeah. The Walmart food just gets weirder and weirder because now everybody's got these watermelons and they've started exploding. All these people's watermelons are exploding. And, you know, this guy I saw, and this is the part where I'm saying it's so weird because you see people who really are sincerely like, this guy is like, you know, I don't know what's going on. Like, you know, should I even be buying food at Walmart? Do you think something's wrong with the food at Walmart? This is all part of the awakening. You know, I've said, I left a comment on that, and I said, definitely don't buy food at Walmart. It's corporate. These people are having, there's a whole thing to where food is manufactured and where it's sent to and how it's like, ugh, you know. Walmart is very corporate. They're out for them to make money. And they're going to, you know, they're working with other corporations. They're going to sell GMO fake food. So anyways, watermelons. And this one I saw where the person was doing the videotape, it was so disgusting. It exploded and it's just seeping out like this clear liquid. Tons and tons and tons of it. I was like, oh, that is so gross. How many, oh, what are people drinking? It was so much. Just go look for those videos, you know, of those exploding. It's like a clear fluid pouring out of them. Why wouldn't it be like a, I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing's weird. It's just weird. So anyways, be careful what you eat, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.